Bestätigt.
Oh no.
Thanks for watching.
Team noch so auf der Pfanne hatte.
Und im Ziel wurde 39, 89.
Die letzte Kurve und dann Axel auch schon vorbei. Jung im Ziel und sie bleiben kommen.
Great Britain and helicopter and Yeah, it's just 1 year to go and I told them the whole time.
So, jetzt!
For the third corner and the bracket there.
Na, gar nicht.
Welcome back to a snowy Saturday afternoon at Lillehammer in Norway, and the final action for the day on the 1994 Winter Olympic track will be the skeleton team race. 20 teams entered with one male and one female skeleton athletes. They're started off by a light array and they will go in reverse of their ranked order. So the deal is very familiar. This is our fourth World Cup skeleton team event of the season, and this will become an Olympic event next time out in Milano Cortina 2026. From the start, as ever, heading down into turn one, just a little left-handed dink, no real corner there, barely up onto turn two. Turn three, though, 90-degree right-hander, heading us down into turns 4 and 5, and those are connected by this short intervening straight. Try and avoid a tap on the left if you could. There's a good chap. Into corner 6, more than 180 degrees. Exit here is critical as it leads you into the labyrinth. 7, and then the left at 8, then on to 9, try and avoid the wall on the left, into 10, big 2 pressure corner, slingshot down through 11 and into corner 12, and again quick transition 12 to 13. Key to speed at the bottom is a nice smooth exit into 14, the right-hander, and then the 2 lefts, a double pressure 15, try and hold the sled level, and then corner 16 and dive out across the line, just there. Easy when you say it like that. Not at all. Well, we've had 3 races this season in Altenburg, in Winterberg and in St. Moritz, with 3 different teams on the podium each time. And only one person has been on the podium twice. The USA's Austin Florian has 2 silver medals out of 3 starts. So, a male and a female slider for each team. And again, we have some teams that are regular participants, Germany, Great Britain, Switzerland and so on, and some that are relatively new to this, like the Netherlands you just saw. And Norway for the first time this year, a brother and sister combination. Nana Johansson with her brother Rasmus. The Swiss Julia Simpson with Livio Summermatter. They've got a couple of teams, the Spanish, the Italians. USA, Germany, Netherlands, Austria, China, who have had a win as well, and Czech Republic, lest we forget. They also have a male and a female skeleton slider. So their team will be involved as well. And the final team will feature not 1 but 2 European champions freshly crowned, with Janine Flock and Sammy Meyer. But we start with Spain's Clara Aznar and Adrian Rodriguez and work our way through the order as we get down through our 20 teams. So Great Britain have had a win, China had a win in the snow in Winterberg, and Germany won in St. Moritz. What is going to happen today? Well, the snow won't be a factor because the track is covered all the way down, so it shouldn't slow down dramatically as it did in the more open Winterberg. Race 4 of the IBSF mixed team skeleton competition gets underway with Spain. Clara Aznar first off, red lights go out and an audible sound as she goes. Reaction time 22 hundredths of a second, below 7 hundredths of a second is into territory where it'll be investigated for a full start. Possibly not doing 308 kilometers an hour just yet. A little tricky with a standing start to get the best out of your getaway. Like a pretty decent start for Clara Aznar, and of course all of our athletes have slid during the course of the weekend already. Women's race and men's races yesterday. So the reaction time is all part of it. If it takes you a long time to get off the line, then it takes you a long time to finish the run as well. Here, her helmet dragging on the ice as she buries ahead in the final quarters for speed. 58.05 is her run. So her start was 8.85 seconds. Now, pointed out when we were in the singles races yesterday, you see often the athletes rocking backwards and forwards, moving their sled when they're on the block. Strictly forbidden in this. That will get you disqualified, or it'll be counted as a full start immediately. So you must remain rigid, and you don't go when you decide, which is the normal way of things. You go when the random clock timer decides. So it's a little difficult, and you can't anticipate it or over-anticipate it, otherwise you end up getting penalised for that as well. If you're a little bit too clever for your own good, the timing system does not like it. So with Clara Aznar down, let's see her teammate Adrian Rodriguez. Slid with Clara and with Ana Torres Quevedo in the races so far this season. A very short change time between the 5 reds coming on and the green coming on, 15 hundredths of a second. So that's a quick reaction time. You won't see too many down in single digits. And if your normal instinct is to pull the sled back before you go, then of course you're actually moving the sled but not going forward. So although your reaction time looks quicker, your start might not be. And his start was a 7.91. Now, these don't really compare with the normal single races, so we will compare them with each other. A nice smooth line so far. Of course, they've had a day off since yesterday, or half a day, to think about this, or most of the day anyway. So working on their lines. And conditions very similar today, I think, to yesterday. And at the line, that was a 37, no, that wasn't the total time, 55.89. Still working out the vagaries of how time's displayed on our screen. So total time, 1 minute 53.94, and it is the total time for the two sliders top to bottom. That is effectively their race time. Not any time in between the end of one run and the start of the next. Late in 13, Adrian Rodriguez, not the IndyCar driver. I probably only do that about once every 3 times I mention his name, Adrian Rodriguez. Apologies. Nice run through 15. All right, so Spain with the lead. Next up is Belgium. Helene Pelkmans and Colin Freeling are the duo. The red lights approach the slider, but you don't go until you hear that bong. 1900ths of a second, so 300ths of a second quicker than Clara Aznar of Spain. And so that's where you start to see some discrepancies already. 300ths isn't quite a lifetime in skeleton, but it is just an extra fractional advantage. So right now, this is head-to-head, Helene Pelkmans versus the time set by Clara Aznar. So Helene, although she started a fraction earlier, her start time across the start clocks was 9:05, not 8:85. So 0.2 of a second slower, despite her reaction time being a few hundreds faster. A little late out of 13. Starting in the middle of the afternoon here, 4 o'clock. It's tea time, let's be honest, if they had such a thing in Norway. It's going to be dark by the end of the race, though. So across the line, the time is a 57.60. So 0.35 faster. 0.45 faster. I'm adding where I should have been subtracting, aren't I? Or subtracting where, anyway. So 0.45 faster. So that is the advantage that she hands to her teammate Colin Freeling. So it is not about one standout athlete, it is about both working together, or both times put together. As you can see with Colin, Helene was being helped out by the Dutch coach, Joske Leconte. Colin being helped out by the British skeleton coach, Kenny Howard. Called him Kenny Thomas yesterday, getting me Kenny Howards and Jack Thomases muddled up. Not the fastest reaction off the block, 1900ths of a second, so the RT was good, but what was the acceleration away from the line like? It was an 8.30 compared to 7.91 for Adrian Rodriguez. So 0.4 of a second, nearly slower. And that means that that plus 0.45 advantage went away at the start. Now, normally, I think Colin, in a normal start, would be around 0.4 slower than Adrian. They would be relatively close together. He's got a slender advantage still, though, and slightly better speed as well. Better exit out of 13, I think, that we saw from Adrian Rodriguez. So Spain's time in the leader box at the bottom is, Clara checks her hair, is down 5600ths up. So Helene Pelkmans was quicker than Clara Aznar, and Colin Freeling quicker than Adrian Rodriguez, and his downtime of 55.78. Yeah, we're going to have to work on some of the aspects of what we're seeing on the timing screen for the Olympic Games, because you sort of need a scanning electron microscope to pick up some of this. Lots going on. It was a good run. Who said that? You're right. It was a good run for Colin Freeling. Again, hard to compare against what they did in the singles. It was a different day, different runners, different setup, different start, different whatever. But that was good. They extended their advantage. Belgium lead with 18 teams to go. Julia Simpson first up for Switzerland Team 2. You can have a maximum of 2 teams in the competition. Again, careful not to jump too soon. Little slower reaction time, 0.26, that's the slowest we've seen so far. And her start time at 9.12. Well, not as quick as Elena Peltman's, against whom we are comparing her now. So she's in the red against the Belgian. A bit of toe steering going on there in 3, 4 and 5. First time here on this track in the World Cup for Julia. So she's going to have to work on relaxing and letting the sled do its thing. Don't fight it too much. Guide it, ease it. Don't cajole it. That's not good. No cajolery. Nice exit out of 30, just a little toasted to keep her off the wall. Whoa. Rocking from 14 to 15. Taps the wall coming across the line. 2300s back, so she closed the margin down. 57.83 compared to 57.60 for Elena Peltmans of Belgium. So Julia teamed with the effervescent Livio Sommermatter. Switzerland 2. Switzerland 1, by the way, is Sarah Schmidt and Vincenz Buff. And it's up to the team, the coaches or the athletes themselves to choose who they want to slide with. What tends to happen is your best athlete goes in Team 1 from each discipline, your next best into Team 2, but not always. You tend to want to put the best 2 together so you get the best shot, obviously. 5 red lights. Go, go, go. Murray Walker on the block. 1500ths of a second. That's a decent reaction time from Livio Sommermatter. And the start, 7.92. 7.91 from Adrian Rodriguez is the fastest, but he's 2800s quicker than Colin Freeling. So immediately undoing that first heat deficit. And needs to continue doing that. Whoa, little late into the labyrinth. 2300s up, second best speed. Quite a lot of sliding and skidding around going on. I mean, yes, they're sliding, but I mean sideways rather than head first. Second best speed still. Gaps coming down. 900ths of a second. It's going to be very close with the Belgians. What's he got? Not enough at the line. Belgium leads. A 56.58 for Livio Sommermatter. And a 55.78 for Colin Freeling, 8/10 quicker. And that undoes the advantage that he had earned early on. So they slip into second place. Belgium lead with 17 to go. It's a very different dynamic, this race. Always has been when we had bobsleigh involved and skeleton, or just the skeleton races, or now with this reaction start. It's a very different dynamic. It's not sliding on your own. It's being part of a team with a colleague, or a number of colleagues. So yeah, it's a different deal. Now then, first time for Latvia. Tata Naimina is first off, and Davis Valdoskis will follow her. So reaction time 0.22, very acceptable. So just a whisker slower in reaction time than Elena Peltmans, but 8.5 seconds start, so nearly half a second quicker. And that lead is growing, but the speed is not great. Now, again, I'm going to have to clarify whether the speed is against the top speed of everybody, which would be including 3 male athletes who, by their size and speed, tend to be quicker, or whether that is, yeah, it can't be 5th best speed out of 4 female sliders, so 5th best speed out of all sliders. Across the line, confusing myself, 57.13. So fastest of our women down so far is Darta Naimene. 57.83 was Julia Simchen of Switzerland, 57.60. So 47 hundredths is the advantage over Elena Peltmans. And that is a handy slice of real estate being handed to teenager Davis Valdovskis. These 2 young Latvians, following in the footsteps of the Ducours brothers. So the athlete is asked by the man operating the lights, the starter, whether he is ready. When he says he is, the countdown will begin. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away goes Davis Valdovskis for Latvia. Reaction time very good, 0.14. 7.95 start is quick enough as well, quicker than Colin Freeling of Belgium. So 8 tenths up on the Belgian duo at the moment. First season in the World Cup, first 2 for Darta Naimene. His teammate, best speed we've seen so far. The men tend to be heavier, they tend to be faster at the start than the female sliders as well, so there's more hurling them off the top of the ramp, and there's more weight to help them accelerate or to stop them slowing down. Belgium at the bottom, the leaders, they're going from the leaders box, they are by 8 tenths of a second. They start in Naimene, 1:52.56. And his run, a 55.43. So he is the fastest so far. So far, the seeding system has kind of worked, although Belgium overhauled Switzerland too. They currently lie in 2nd place behind the Latvians. It was only 0.03 of a second difference.
We have Italy on the telephone.
So Latvia lead, 4 down, 16 to go. This is our 5th team. Alessandra Fumagalli with Giovanni Marchetti, Italy 2. So decent reaction from Alessandra, 0.18 of a second. So just 8:39 start. That is the quickest we've seen so far as well. Oh, I was going to say a decent looking run right up until then. Got late off 6. Bounced around into 7 at the top of the labyrinth. That's going to follow all the way down to turn 10. Whipping into 13. Little tap coming down into 14, out of 14 into 15. Head buried. That scritchy, scratchy noise, the helmet on the ice. 77 hundredths up, 56.36. That is a head-to-head against Darta Naimene of Latvia. So a very handy advantage. You were getting all that right. Next up, Giovanni Marchetti. So no Amadeo Bagnes this week. Final week of the season and not quite fit enough to compete here. So Giovanni Marchetti, rookie this season, has completed his World Cup season up until now. Eyes are starting to mist up already. The tricolore on the helmet. .16 RT, very good. And a decent launch off the line as well. 7.86, fastest start we've seen as well. Covered the ground well, Giovanni Marchetti. So he's building on the advantage he was handed. A second up. Maybe a little high in 5. Hard onto 7. Smooths it out into 9, down to corner 10, best speed. Not surprised, fastest start and a decent looking run. Over a second clear now, still the best speed. Racing away from the Latvians. A little rub on the wall out of 13. Whistling through into 15. Trust the line, great exit into 16. Just nudges the wall across the line. 1.1 seconds up, 1:51.39. That's an excellent run from the Italian duo. Nice stuff from Giovanni Marchetti, 55.03 run.
Let's go, Eva.
See, you spend enough time around these people, you start to understand what they're saying. I'm sure he was saying, let's go there. Well, here he is out of 13. Just the littlest rub on the wall there, not a big hit. That was a good run, wasn't it? Italy lead as we get to Switzerland team 1 now. Sarah Schmid first up with Vincenz Buff waiting in the wings, or probably more strictly the changing room.
Go, 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 go!
0.24 is the reaction time. That's entirely acceptable. Not the fastest, but might not be the slowest either. 8.66 the start. So outstarted by Alessandra Fumagalli by 27 hundredths of a second. And she is not undoing that. Oh, hits between 8 and 9, scrabbling down into 10. Not the run that Sarah Schmid would have been hoping for. And all of the late exits, all of the hits, the taps, the skids, the toe steers, robbing speed out of the sled. Across the line, 57.15. Well, 56.36 for Alessandra Fumagalli. Leaves the Swiss nearly 8/10 back. So it's a massive mountain to climb for Vincenz Buff. Here he is. Well, when the athletes are on the block, I don't think they're doing that mental arithmetic. They are just focusing on getting themselves down the track. But 79 hundredths of a second is the deficit that he's got to overcome. He must be 8/10 quicker in one run than Giovanni Marchetti. I think that is a tall ask. The Italians might be in the lead for a few sleds. So the reaction time just a tenth of a 0.26 of a second rather. And his start 8.25. So adding another 0.4 of a second to the deficit. Because Giovanni Marchetti started 7.86. So now the question is, are they going to be second ahead of Latvia or third behind Latvia? And at the moment, it is looking very close. Latvia 1.17 back. Italy will lead. Switzerland are second place, 0.99 back. So the Italians stay in the leaders' box. Late out of 13, as is so often the case here. And the track workers saying that 13 is benign this year, quite forgiving.
Team USA with Kelly Curtis and Daniel Barefoot.
Sarah Schmidt and Vincent Puff for Switzerland. So the Swiss are done. They are second and fifth out of our 6 sleds. Next up, Kelly Curtis and Dan Barefoot for the USA. Kelly Curtis returning to action after having a year off, becoming a new mum. 1800 of a second reaction time. That's good stuff from the American. And her sliding form has certainly returned. She may not quite have the starting speed yet that she had at the end of the season before last, but that will come back. 1800s in the hole to Italy, closing the gap right down. Good speed, third fastest slider. We've had a dozen down already. 100th up, just losing a little traction here. Not bad out of 13, still 100th in it. This is going to be very close at the line with Italy and with Alessandra Fumagalli 200s back. Alessandra 56.36, Kelly Curtis 56.38, and she started 8.62 compared to 8.39 of Alessandra Fumagalli. So she definitely made up on the ice for that start advantage that Fumagalli had. So Dan Barefoot then for the USA. So this is USA Team 2. US with 2 podium finishes so far this season. Silver medal in Altenburg, Sarah Roderick and Austin Florian. Silver medal in St. Moritz, Mystique Rowe and Austin Florian. Good reaction time. Ooh, just a little slip on the load. 1400ths of a second, 500ths in it. This is all down to a head-to-head arm wrestling match between Dan Barefoot and Giovanni Marchetti. Whoever comes out on top here, their team will have the advantage. Barefoot slipping back early on. He started 300 slower than Marchetti, so the deficit when he left the block went from 200s to 500s out to 1800s now. Not quite as much speed as the Italian, but a good exit out of 13. Smooth through 14. Head buried in 15. He's going to be close. Is he close enough? He's not. Oh, whoa, where did that go? So the Italians stay in the leaders' box at a 55.53 for Dan Barefoot.
Damn.
All right, couple of mistakes early up in the run, always going to cost you speed, and that is acceleration you never get back. And just here, as he rotates onto the sled, the final step just overloads the fraction, whoa, and has to haul himself back on, settle himself in.
Thumbs up. And the track is clear.
1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war. Next up, with Italy leading, is Czechia for the Czech Republic. Anna Fernstedt and Timon Drahanovsky. Now, they've been in the medals before now. Not this season, but last. They were on the podium. What was that? Am I thinking back now to Altenburg World Champ? I don't know. I did. It's all a blur. My age, everything's a blur. So the reaction time, 0.13. Anna, very experienced at this team racing business. She was in team competitions when we had men and women's bobsleigh as well as men and women's skeleton. Went into a mixed nations team. Came out on the podium. Now it's an Olympic discipline. It is strictly your own nation or not at all. Still in the red to Fumagalli at the line by 2600ths. And that leaves a lot for Timon Drahanovsky to do. So we've had a brother, or we will have a brother and sister from Denmark. We've got cousins for Czechia, because Anna and Timon are cousins. So getting out of the warm weather clothing at the last possible moment. Spent a lot of time warming the muscles up. We're a couple of weeks out of the World Championships, 3 weeks out of the World Championships. Do not want to be injuring yourself now. Because whatever nation you come from, the Worlds are always going to be important. So Giovanni Marchetti started 7.86. 1500's good RT. Half a second back, so he has started slower, 8.14. Timon, a relative newcomer to men's skeleton, second full season in the World Cup. Giovanni Marchetti for the Italian team that's currently leading in his rookie season. 9/10 back, and this is going to drop behind the USA at the moment into third spot at the line. 1.1 back, 1.17 back in fourth place is Latvia, and they're in fifth. They are further back. Well, not the second run that they needed. 56.08. So Czechia move into fifth place of our 8 teams. 12 still to go. And are showing good form as ever in 15. And Timon here in 6. Holding that line.
And now for our lovely neighbours, we have Team
Yeah, the camera's the big thing that Ilko's holding. Looking at the people behind Ilko. So from the cousins to the siblings. Brother and sister Johansson. Nana first, the younger of the pair. And her brother Rasmus will be next up. Bundestrainer Christian Bauder behind them. Not because they're German, but because the Germans have effectively adopted the duo and helped them with their training. 8:91 start for Amanda Johansson, new to the World Cup this season. With the World Cup returning to Norway for a second consecutive year this year, and remaining here next week as well, with the World Championships coming in 2027. I wonder if by that stage we will have Norwegian sliders back in the World Cup. We have on occasion, big height in 15, that's an uncomfortable exit. Across the line, 57.46. Now she's left brother Rasmus with a bit more work to do, I think, than she would have expected. All got a bit away from her, and again they slid yesterday afternoon, the women, so the conditions may be quite different today. Norwegian flag behind, friends and family, lots of friends and family here in Lillehammer. Relatively easy to get to Oslo, and then it's a couple of hours up the coast. Everything's up the coast in Norway. So for Denmark, Rasmus Johansson. Now, in a head-to-head fight, you would expect him to come out on top of Giovanni Marchetti, but that deficit of 1.1 seconds, this is going to have to be absolutely epic. Little twitch of the foot, but no twitch of the sled. 1700 of a second, the reaction time. Both reacted well. So was 1.10 back before the start. He's already started to chisel into that. And start time 7:84 compared to 7:86 of Giovanni Marchetti. Best speed. 0.85 back. What? He's going to run out of ice, isn't he, at this rate of closing? Yeah. And that bobble out of 13 is not going to be enough. They are going to be in third place at the line. It is third at the line, behind the USA, and Italy continue to lead. And the USA following them up the order. Well, it is a Danish team, but it's actually a family as well. So the Johansson family are currently lying in third. I thought she was just going to give him a boot up the backside to get him started. Now, Julia Erlacher for Austria. What's playing in her head? See, now that I need to know. Juris, Monta, social media, what's going through her head in that moment when she's jigging around? She's thinking something, she's singing something. Please don't let her be the greatest showman. Okay, here we go. Italy still lead, USA second, Denmark third. This is Austria 2, the first of the Austrian crews. 8.52 the getaway for Julia Erlacher. Decent reaction time again, 0.22 of a second. Nice smooth run down to corner 6. Exit here nicely onto 7 and through 8. This is a good labyrinth. Look at the way she's bringing the margin back down, just 300ths behind. Closing in on Alessandra Fumagalli. Down to 100th of a second. Decent exit out of 13. 700ths back. A good 15 might be enough. Straight down the tubes into 16, across the line. 1200ths back, 56.48. That's a bridgeable gap. That is a bridgeable gap. Depends if Alex Schlitner is having a good run. So it's down to the sum of the two parts. But now it's down to Alex Schlindler, because Julia just 12 hundredths of a second adrift of Alessandra Fumagalli. So Alex Schlindler didn't have a happy day yesterday. Not the best two runs. That was yesterday, might as well be a different lifetime. It doesn't affect what you do today unless you let it. Notice how the athletes are not watching the lights, they're just waiting for that ping. And away he goes, 0.2 of a second, the reaction time. Covers a lot of ground very quickly, Alex Schlindler. And that's a 7.90 start. Giovanni Marchetti, 7.86, so not much in it. Gap out to 16 hundredths after his start. Marchetti with that fractionally quicker getaway. Schlindler, if he has a good run, can drive back in. A little early on to 7. Third best speed, 19 hundredths. The gap is going in the right direction. Sort of stalled, only the 6th best speed. Marchetti was quicker. Decent exit out of 13. Gap's grown too much. He's not going to get there. Italy will continue to lead. And across the line, 3/10 back. Somebody get the Italians some more clothes, by the way. I know it's coats of many colours down there, but they're not going to get any warmer standing around for half an hour waiting for somebody to go quicker. So Julia Erlacher just a little out of place as she started the load. Managed to get onto the sled with no real dramas. And Alex Schlindler, well, looked like he was closing the gap, but in the end, just drifted away a little below the labyrinth. Got quite hard onto the labyrinth, turn 7. But they have separated Italy and the USA. So next up is the Netherlands, Kimberly Bos, last year's World Cup champion and the Olympic bronze medalist from Beijing, with rookie teammate Juri van Kupperveld. And this is the first season, pretty much, that Kim Bos has had a male counterpart in skeleton with whom to compete. 8.55 the start. And Alessandra Fumagalli, 8.39, so not starting as quick as the Italian. Ninth best speed. The margin is a slender one with Fumagalli. Here we go, 4th best speed. And that is of 20 previous athletes as well. 1100s up. She's going to take the lead for the Netherlands. It'll be down to Juri to try and hang on to it. Across the line, 2300s up, 56.13. Is that enough? $2,300s up.
Hallo. Dat is even anders.
So, Juri van Kupperveld being handed a near quarter of a second lead. So it is him versus Giovanni Marchetti, 2 World Cup rookies this season. We've seen a little more of Marchetti. What can Juri produce? But again, the tension of not being able to move and then having to explode at a time that is not of your choosing. Looked like a pretty good reaction time. 4600s up. It was a good start as well. 7.63. Giovanni Marchetti, 7.86. So he's really scrambled away from the line superbly. But Yuri lost speed in the singles competition in both runs down the ice. Not as familiar with sliding, maybe as some of his rivals. Only the 20th best speed. Oh, and huge looping in 10. Almost the slowest speed of all, lowest speed of all. 3,500s back. The Italians will stay in the leader's box. Jurika van Kupperveld comes across the line with a 56.04. So they are 1.3 seconds back and slip to 4th place behind USA 2. Well, he can start. Give him some time to learn how to handle that speed. And he could be a formidable slider. As any coach will say, give me a starter and I'll teach him how to slide. Big height early in 10, gets sent back up again. Exit was actually pretty decent, but just covered a lot of ground, zigzagging along there instead of keeping a straight line. So to the first of our German teams, this is our 12th of 20 squads. Susanne Kreher, 2023 World Champion, and Axel Jung. So Axel, the Olympic silver medalist in Beijing. 1300s behind Alessandro Fumagalli with an 8.52 getaway. Reaction time was good, 1400ths of a second. So 400ths of a second quicker than Alessandro Fumagalli, but she's going to have to drive herself into a lead, and she is doing that. 10th best speed. She's the 23rd athlete on the track. Still the 10th best speed, but in the lead. Nice exit from 13. That's really going to shoot her down towards the bottom. 400s up. Is that enough? It is enough. 1100s is the lead. So a world champion and an Olympic silver medalist in this team. Susanne Kreher took the bronze alongside Olympic champion Christopher Groother in Altenburg. And Axel Jung took gold with Jacke Pfeiffer last time out in St. Moritz. So they've both had a medal this season. Will they get one together? Well, why don't they keep the same team together, Martin? Well, because they're trying to figure out how to get the best out of the system, and it would appear sensible that on any day, on any track, you put your 2 best sliders on that day into the same team together to give that one team the best chance. You front load your team if you have a choice of teams, if you're a big enough nation. And so today, although it's actually yesterday's race, early start under review, that rarely plays well. Reaction time shown as 1400ths of a second. And a 7.61 start. Now, 3700ths in the lead. 4300ths in the lead. Not a bad looking run from Axel Jung. Half a second up. Second best speed of all. Six-tenths is the advantage. This is going to dispose of Italy unless they have a whopping start deficit. 7300ths. That's huge. But there is a penalty. Everything's suddenly gone red. Penalty applied, 0.65 of a second, but that still leaves them in the lead. Right, but I think the chance of a medal has definitely gone. Well, they lead by 800s from Italy. Red lights are on, and he moves before the green. So Suzanne Kreher and Axel Juck lead narrowly for Germany. Next up is Italy 1. So Valentina Margaglio applies the lip gloss. And here we go. Paired with Mattia Gaspari, the man from Cortina. 8:23 the getaway for Valentina. So in the green over Suzanne Kreher by 35 hundredths. This is a good-looking run so far. She's not been on the podium all season long in the singles competition. Oh, and a drift away. Still really not quite getting the most out of the sled. Across the line, just 700ths up. 56.18. All right, it is a lead, but it was so much more. And that is the story that we've seen from the Italian skeleton team all season long. The speed just ebbing away. So Valentina Margaglio and now Mattia Gaspari. Mattia from Cortina. Mattia can actually see the bobsleigh track from his apartment. He's that much from Cortina. Not just the environs or the outskirts, right up by the tennis club and the bobsleigh track. So a slender lead. Just 700ths a second. Sixth fastest reaction time, 0.16, very good. Start 8:01. Axel started 7:61. So 4/10 adrift at the start for Mattia. He needs to really fly here. Don't forget that the Germans lost 6,500ths from, or had it added to their time to drop them back to where they were, where they currently are. Half a second behind, fourth best speed. Juck was flying, not a bad run at all from Mattia Gaspari. Italy too are currently in second place, just 800ths back. I think Italy too are going to have it over Italy. No! They overhaul the Germans at the line. Mattia Gaspari. I didn't hear the fat lady warming up, but it ain't over till it's over. Oh, there again, the sled constantly breaking into skids. Decent start from Mattia Gaspari.
Try now we have first one now.
And he takes the lead. Mattia already a World Championship medalist in the team competition. Next up is China. So Liu Shi and Chen Wenhao. Li first to go. 1700s, good reaction time. Just 100 slower than Valentina Margaglio, but 3,700 slower in the start. That's an 8.60, not an 8.23. The Boy, she's going to have to drive here. Now, Valentina didn't have the neatest, tidiest run. 3700s back to 4500s back. Does the gap grow or shrink? It grows. 18th velocity. Out of, well, she's now the 27th slider. Speed is not there at all for Liu Qi. It's not a bad looking run. Maybe that's part of it, maybe just steering too much. Maybe went a little conservative on the setup. But across the line, 56.65. And leaving her teammate a lot of work to do. Half a second in the hole. So Chen Wenhao is the second of our sliders for China 2. At the moment, Italy 1 lead, Germany 1 and Italy 2. Germany 2 yet to come. They haven't gone already. Everybody else starts with Team 2 as the lower ranked. The Germans, for some reason, had Germany 1 going out first. However, whatever. Good reaction time from Chen, 1400ths of a second. And no problem with the sled moving either. I don't think it was the reaction time so much of Axel-Junker's maybe motion from the block. That's what cost them what would still have been a sizable lead. Chinese in the red behind the Italians. Italy currently first and third. Fourth best speed for Chen. 4100ths. 4/10. 700s back. Oh, this could be close. That wasn't bad. It wasn't good enough though. The Italians will stay in the leaders box surely. China come up 2700 shy. So 54.88 compared to 55.08 of Mattia Gaspari. 0.2 of a second quicker than Mattia, but Valentina Margalio was getting on for half a second quicker than Liu Qi there on the right of the picture. So there's Li's start. Still trying to combine the technique of a sprinter coming out of the blocks, but also bent double holding a sled. So it's work in progress. And so is that, by the way. So Mystique Rowe and Austin Florian. Austin with 2 silver medals this season. The first in Altenburg with Sarah Roderick, the second last time out in St. Moritz with current teammate Mystique Rowe. Can they do it again? They are the 15th of our 20 teams. Even if they take the lead, they still need 2 or 3 to fall by the wayside. 8:28 the start. And the reaction time, 0.15, that was quick. She had a good run in the singles competition as well, Mystique Rowe. Offline, all over 9. That leaves her working harder in 10. Just 900ths of a second in front. And scritching and scratching. The speed has gone away though. She's not. Ooh, maybe she is going to be in front. Helmet scraping along the ice. Across the line, 2400ths up. She is indeed in front. So the first sub-56 run for one of our female sliders. Previous fastest down, Valentina Margalio of Italy, the current leaders, 56.18. Mystique Rowe, 55.94, 2400s faster. She actually started 500s slower than Valentina, but drove it into a quarter of a second lead. So now then, what about Austin Florian? 2 team silver medals already this season. He's got to keep this form going now for another 12 months, hasn't he? To strike in the games. And for all of our skeleton athletes, it is a second opportunity for a medal, not just the individual medals, but for the team gold as well. .747 compared to 8:01 of Mattia Gaspari. So 5400s added to their advantage. .8600s up. The gap's coming back down. 7500s. And again, like in the first heat, or like in the men's race, losing a little speed further down the track. It will be enough to take the lead. Is it enough to put them into the medals? 2600s up. It could have been a lot more if the sled had held its speed further down the run. But that was a 55.06 effort. So Chen Wenhao a 54.88. But a 55.06 for Austin Florian takes the lead from Italy, with Germany 1 in 3rd, Italy 2 in 4th, and China 2 in 5th. So USA 1 lead, USA 2 still to come. I beg your pardon, USA 2 have gone already, Kelly Curtis and Dan Barefoot. So our second US team. Is it another medal? All right. Chao Dan and Lin Chen Wei. Lin, our men's singles winner. The first victory for him in the World Cup came yesterday morning. .867. Fastest start from Chao Dan. Half a second behind Mystique Rowe, who started 8:28. So she started nearly 4 tenths up. And Chao Dan has not got the speed at the moment. 7 tenths back, only the 18th fastest sled. So leaving Lin Chen Wei with a lot of work to do. And you sense that the USA are likely to have the lead after this one. Have to wait and see. All right. Big smile on her face. 56.56. And Lin Chen Wei, well, whatever happens today, what a weekend it's been for him. 8th and final race of the World Cup season, and came away with the gold medal. And as the last man to go, first heat leader, there was a 5-minute hold. Unexpectedly, nobody had crashed. There was something in the track, apparently, probably dropped by a fan. But a 5-minute hold left him standing on the line on his own. Commendable sang-froid to hold it all together, not get frustrated, not lose his focus, not overdrive. I mean, like he'd been doing it forever. 7:62 start. Again, losing ground to Austin Florian. Well, this duo, Xiaodan and Lin Chen-wei, in Winterberg, as the snow fell, spent longer and longer and longer in the leader's box, and eventually, as the track slowed, they ended up with the gold medal. So he's had a team gold and an individual gold now this season. That's not a bad rookie year, is it? 3900s back, trying to bring the gap back, but this is looking like third at the line. No, they just sneak in front of Italy. But the USA lead with 4 to go.
So as of now, in our 3, we have in the third place the Italian team, Bobsleigh. The second place, we have team trying out.
So winner in Winterberg in the team competition with his teammate Xiaodan. And there is Dan. And a winner yesterday in the men's competition. 2 gold medals this season. Not a bad way to go. Let's see him return to that form next year. Next up then, Germany 2, our second German crew. After them, we got 2 British teams and 1 from Austria to go. Jackie Pfeiffer and Felix Kaisinger. This team, Jackie the winner in Samaritz with Axel Jung from our current leaders, Mystique Rowe and Austin Florian. They're keeping the dream team together. Let's see what Jack can produce. Well, 0.18 reaction time, the conservative side of the coin. The 8:66 start time. She started 8:66. Mystique Rowe started 8:28. 3800s faster, and Jacka not reeling in that lack of speed. Oh, big skid as well into 14. Head buried in 15. But only the 8th fastest run down, 56.55. Lots of work to do.
Echt? Hat sich viel langsamer angefühlt.
So Felix Kaisinger with plenty to contemplate here. Outside chance of a medal. We're back in caged tiger mode. Haven't seen the caged tiger for a while. Pacing sideways across the block. All right, here we go. Needs an absolutely epic run to take the lead from the USA. He's a quick starter, but so too is Austin Florian from this standing start. That's a 7:74. Austin Florian, a 7:47. And the reaction time was not bad at all, 0.14. Kaisinger not able to slice into the deficit from the start. So he's going to have to really drive hard here. At the moment, Germany behind the USA, behind China, behind Italy. On the splits, looks like they're going to lose a couple of spots. 4900s back. Jacqueline Pfeiffer at the top. Team USA, Austin Florian and Mystique Rowe, the leaders. The Germans do drop down into 3rd place at the moment. So 54.71 run for Kaisi. Not bad. But Mystique Rowe and Austin Florian lead with 3 to go. So Germany 2 tied with Italy 1 in 3rd place at the moment. We could have 7 teams in the top 6. And Germany 2 just ahead of their teammates Susanne Kreh and Axel Jung by 0.05 of a second. And don't forget, Axel Jung with that 0.65 of a second penalty, they would still be leading apart from that. However, Amelia Coltman and Marcus Wyatt, Wyatt the winner with Tabby Stoker in Altenburg. Amelia Coltman took the bronze with Matt Weston in St. Moritz. And Amelia had a strong day in the women's competition. So 8:46 start from a 0.15 reaction time. .2900s back, not the highest speed, only 14th fastest. So Mystique Rowe was quite a lot quicker than that. Gaps out to 0.3 of a second. A medal beckons for the USA. Amelia Coltman's bringing it back towards the line. Out of 15, a clean run out of 16, no brush on the wall. 2100s. That is a lot for Marcus Wyatt to do. Last year's European champion finished 2nd in the overall season standings behind World Cup champion Matt Weston, who defended his title. But a first ever 1-2 for Great Britain in the men's competition, or in any competition in the World Cup. She's had a good season, Amelia Coltman, hasn't she? So too Marcus Wyatt, 2nd in the overall standings. All right, 2100s is the deficit. Matthias Guggenberger with the sled. Teammates, friends and family offering encouragement. So Austin Florian starts 7.47. 2800s back, he's a little slower, 7.54. So that's the deal. He's got to find 0.3 to take a medal here. Or at least to take the lead. 2500s, the gap is coming down a fraction. .12 of a second. He's now faster than Austin Florian was. So Marcus Wyatt is undoing the deficit. 7th best speed. Great Britain in a position to grab the lead with 2 sleds to go. Great drive from Marcus Wyatt. Look at Amelia Coltman. The USA are going to be eased out of the lead by 0.3 of a second nearly. That's a half-second turnover for Marcus Wyatt. From 2100s back to 2800s up. That's a drive. That is a drive. Well, Amelia Coltman led them off. And Marcus Wyatt with the anchor leg. You see the clock there running with the total time. They have the lead. 2 to go. They're in the medals.
And now for the next story.
So Amelia Coltman in the medals again. Marcus Wyatt in the medals again. Our penultimate team is Team GB1, Tabby Stoker and Lawrence Bostock. So Tabs and Marcus Wyatt, winners in Altenburg. .22. Slightly cautious with the reaction time. but an 8:48 getaway compared to 8:46 of her teammate Amelia Coltman. So this is a head-to-head between the two British sliders. She was 700ths slower starting, or moving, only 200ths slower with the run. And that extra velocity that she's added to the sled is taking her very slightly into the lead. 200ths out to 500ths, back down to 300ths. This is going to be tight, isn't it? I mean, she's dropping back, the speed's not great. Little tap on the run into 14. 600s back. She's leaving a lot of work for Lawrence Bostock to do, because Marcus Wyatt's run was exceptional. 56.34 for Tabby Sturker. So Lawrence Bostock in Richardson there in the black jacket from the BBSA, out watching the action this weekend. A lot of work for Lawrence Bostock to do, and unless I'm my guess, this is his first reaction start race, so they have had a little bit of training. And don't forget, last time out in St Moritz, Matt Weston picked up a jump start penalty. They still got a bronze medal, but it could have, should have perhaps been gold. No drama with the start there, and the good reaction time as well, 1500ths of a second. But what can he do against the speed that Marcus Wyatt produced? And Marcus really flew. And if Amelia Coltman and Marcus Wyatt's runs aren't enough for gold, then our final team will have done something very special. Gap's growing, 5700ths back. And at the moment, that will drop them down to 6th position with 1 to go. $7,700 back. Slipping further down the order, the leaders at the bottom, Tabby Sturker, his teammate at the top, and they're 9th at the line. It will be a top 10 finish, but it won't be a medal. $55.26 for Lawrence Bostock, 54.57 for Marcus Wyatt, 0.7 of a second faster.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Tabby Sturker and Lawrence Bostock. Our final sled then, Austria, featuring race winner and European champion Janine Flock, silver medalist and European champion Sammy Meyer. Sammy in the background, thinking his way down. Now what can Janine do? She was absolutely in stunning form in a women's race yesterday afternoon. And Amelia Coltman's 56.15 is the mark that she has got to beat by as much as she can. 2300s quicker at the start. I beg your pardon, 2300s slower at the start in the red. But it was what she did when she was on the sled that makes all the difference with Janine. Bringing the gap down. Ooh, little nudge into 9. Didn't do that yesterday. 1600, she's closing right down. 5th best speed of everybody. So faster than almost all the men. 300s in it. She's going to take the lead. Out of 15 into 16. How far in front? 1500s with a 56 dead. Okay, 15 hundredths of a second. That is the margin that Sammy Meyer has. Effectively, Sammy Meyer gets a 15 hundredths of a second head start over Marcus Wyatt and one run. Well, Janine did it all yesterday. World Cup win, European champion, and sealed the Crystal Globe. And Sammy Meyer, the European champion, the first Austrian to become the European champion in men's skeleton since Walter Stern in 2003. And Mickey Grunberger might need to get somebody else to deal with this. Let's just clumped Sammy on the wrist as he was laying it on the ice. Put Janine's in the wrong groove a couple of weeks ago. I'm kidding. All right, here we go. This is for gold. Great reaction time, 0.14. That was quicker than Marcus Wyatt. And the start time is 8:09. Marcus started 7:54, so half a second quicker. So the early advantage has gone, and now Sammy needs to really fly down this ice like he did yesterday in the men's race. Was within a fraction of the victory. It was either him or Lynn, and somehow Lynn just found something special. 36 hundredths, best speed of all. How close can he bring this? Can the Austrians win it? 22 hundredths into 15. Who's going to take the advantage? Is it Austria? It is Great Britain by 2 hundredths of a second. Denying Janine Flock a clean sweep of everything that God thought of this weekend. 2 hundredths of a second. Try 100 still. You see, even the athletes don't understand the timing. Janine did because she was looking at the live timing, but Sammy didn't. Well, what a race they made of it. Fantastic stuff from the Austrians. And Janine Flock nearly got the women's race, the European Championships, the Crystal Globe, and the team race in the same 24 hours. But it's Amelia Coltman and Marcus Wyatt who claim victory. That's the second gold of the season for Marcus. 2 medals this weekend. And Amelia Coltman, her second consecutive medal. Bronze with Matt Weston, the overambitious starter of St. Moritz, and gold now with Marcus Wyatt. He's becoming quite the force. So too is Marcus. What a weekend he has had. The European champion and team gold medal. Austin Florian sticking his head into shot, and why not? Great Britain, Austria and USA won. That is your top three. 59 hundredths back, Germany won, but with a 65 hundredths penalty. Jump starts always cost you. Look how close it was. They were just 5 hundredths behind Germany too, and Italy won, and only a few hundredths behind China. So some great racing and another fun team skeleton competition, and it will continue to be fun until the games. And I wonder how it's going to feel when it is Olympic medals and not World Cup medals that are up for grabs. They'll still want to perform, they'll still put the pressure on themselves. Will the fun element just be eradicated? Let's hope not. Great Britain, Austria and the USA. Another medal for Mystique Rowe and Austin Florian. That's Austin's third medal in 4 races this season. 2 silvers and a bronze. He's becoming quite the star of the team competition. And that is it for the Skeleton World Cup. The next time we see these men and women in action, it will be the World Championships at the end of February in Lake Placid. Do not miss it. It will be epic. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 0900 0800 GMT, 0300 Eastern, with the women's bobsleigh. Until then, from everybody in Lillehammer, from all the goofing around, that's it. Goodbye. There is no more. See you tomorrow.
Oké, daar gaat hij. So, Emilia Coleman, Marcus White, congratulations on this victory. How much fun is this team event?
It's great fun. I think so much of the time you are an individual in the sport, so any chance where we can work as a team and win a medal as a pair is, yeah, it's just really fun.
Yeah. So, Emilia, how happy are you with this win?
Super happy. I think we've both had a really successful weekend. To come away with the gold today is just the cherry on top.
So, how do you like this track, Marcus? This Lillehammer track?
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it last year when I popped the spur, but it was my first ever slides were here almost exactly 10 years ago, so it's got a special place in my heart. I love the flow of it, and apparently I might be quite good at it.
So, Emilia, how about you? How about this track?
I've had a bad relationship with it in the past. I've had a lot of injuries from the exit of 15, but over the past 2 years I've really found my flow, and you know, I've shown I can mix it with the best in the world here.
So maybe you and this track are becoming friends?
I would say so, yeah. I think that's fair to say.
Congratulations.
Thank you.